With us now, Asher Fredman. He's the Executive Director of the Misgav Institute for Security Studies. Welcome to the programme, Asher. And I was expecting to speak to you about President Trump's speech. He was supposed to be speaking about an hour and a half ago. He is running over as his trip to Egypt is pushed back slightly. But we have since learned that the president of Indonesia will be visiting Israel tomorrow. Your reaction to that?
This is incredibly significant. I've been saying that we need to use the positive momentum around the ceasefire and the hostage release agreement in order to restore the positive momentum, to expand, to deepen the Abraham Accords. I had even hoped that the president would speak about the IMEC corridor, the India, Middle East, Europe corridor in his speech, either in the Knesset or in Sharm el-Sheikh, that perhaps we get some sort of signing of the Abraham Accords in Sharm el-Sheikh. And all of a sudden we have this news about the president of Indonesia coming to Israel, an extremely important country. Israel-Indonesia relations can be extremely beneficial for both countries. So this day keeps getting more and more unbelievable, incredible, intense. It's hard to even find the words to describe it.
Yeah, I know. We're all finding it that way today. We're running out of adjectives. We're running out of superlatives.
Exactly.
But talk me through the advantages of peace with Indonesia, then, because of course this isn't a country in the Middle East. This is not a country that Israel is at war with or ever has been at war with. It's just simply a very large Muslim country that's never recognised Israel. What are the benefits of relations with this country?
Well, first of all, it's the world's most populous Muslim country, and that in itself is of great significance. It is a major player, a major power in Asia. It is a very important U.S. ally. The areas of potential cooperation between the two countries in water, in agriculture, in critical minerals, in advanced technologies is huge. It's true. Already there's been cooperation in defense and also in tourism, to be honest. There have been a fairly large number of Christian Indonesian tourists who have come to Israel over the years. But in those areas, too, there's tremendous potential to take the relationship to the next level. I think that Israel will benefit from this. The Middle East will benefit from this. Asia will benefit. The U.S. alliance the U.S. aligned countries in Asia and in the Middle East will all benefit from this. So I think it's a very important message. We're
talking about a lot of prizes for Israel today, a lot of good things for Israel. The hostages are coming home. Israel will not withdraw entirely from Gaza. There's Fredman again looking at us out the window. We're talking about prizes for Israel. We're talking about getting the hostages home. We're talking about the president of Indonesia. We're potentially talking about Saudi Arabia and even Syria, peace deals, a transformed region. That's what President Trump wants. That's what he talked about in his first term, and that's what he wants to deliver on now in his second term. But what about the cost for Israel? Because there's no such thing as a free lunch, is there, Asher? Do you think that Israel may have to make some concessions, and might those concessions be in the form of a Palestinian state one day?
So first of all, we have to say that there is I don't know if we call it a concession, but a very real danger. We've already seen that Hamas is essentially retaking large parts of the Gaza Strip, reestablishing its power. There's no way to prevent the huge amounts of civilian reconstruction material from being used by Hamas, at least partially, to rebuild its military infrastructure. To what degree Israel is going to be restrained in responding to intelligence, for example, about Hamas rebuilding its terror infrastructure is a very important and very real question. And I assume and I hope that the Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump have discussed this in great detail. That's one element. With regards to a Palestinian state, the president talked about sort of the return of the Peace to Prosperity plan and the conditions there, right? And one of the conditions, for example, for a potential Palestinian state is an anti-Palestinian incitement. Is the Palestinian Authority going to now rename the dozens of schools that are named after murderous terrorists? I think highly unlikely. Is the PA going to change the names of its city squares that are named after the people whose only claim to fame is that they murdered Jewish children? I think it's unlikely. So I think there's very, very little chance that the PA will meet the minimal requirements presented by President Trump for eventual recognition of statehood.
And do you think it's right? Do you think it's a good decision for Prime Minister Netanyahu to travel to Egypt to attend the summit in Sharm el-Sheikh?
I think it's absolutely required. I mean, you can't talk about the future of Gaza without Israel being there. And by the way, for all the countries that want to be involved in a potential reconstruction of Gaza, whether it's Saudi Arabia or Indonesia or even Qatar, you can't do that without close coordination and communication with Israel. So it may well be that the shaping the future of Gaza is also an element in strength in widening cooperation and communication between Israel and these countries. And yes, I think that when you have all these leaders gathered, we have peace with Egypt. We've had peace since Menachem Begin made peace with Egypt in 1979. It's quite appropriate for Prime Minister Netanyahu to be there.
Thanks very much indeed, Asher. Enjoy your Simchat Torah. Hag Sameach. Thank you so much, Asher Fredman.
Thank you.